helping you find your happiness. How to tell if you are being manipulated and what to do about it. Are you ever unsure if someone is being genuine with you or if they're trying to get you to do something that benefits them and not you? Manipulation is a tricky thing. The person manipulating you often does so in subtle ways that can be hard to detect. However, there are some telltale signs that can clue you in to when you're being manipulated. First off, pay attention to the language the person is using. Do they make statements that seem overly flattering or appealing to your ego? Manipulators will often try to boost your self-esteem in order to get you to let your guard down. They may also use a lot of you statements, making everything about you and your needs, when in reality, their true motivations are self-serving. Another red flag is if the person is being vague or evasive when you ask direct questions. Manipulators don't like to give you the full picture because that would make their true intentions more obvious. They may dodge questions, change the subject, or give you just enough information to keep you engaged, but not enough to really understand what's going on. Along those lines, beware of someone who seems to have an answer for everything. Manipulators are often skilled at anticipating objections and having a counter-argument ready. This can make them seem very confident and in control, which can be convincing, but it's a tactic to keep you off balance and get you to go along with their plans. Interestingly, research has shown that manipulators will often use emotional appeals and try to elicit strong emotional responses, whether positive or negative. The goal is to bypass your rational decision-making and get you to react impulsively. So if someone is trying to make you feel guilty, afraid, or overly excited about something, that's a potential manipulation tactic. One particularly insidious form of manipulation is gaslighting, where the person makes you question your own reality and memories. For example, they might deny something they said or did, even if you're certain it happened. Or they may act confused when you bring up an issue, making you feel like you're the one who's mistaken or overreacting. This can chip away at your self-confidence over time. There are 2 excellent videos about gaslighting, how to recognize it and how to overcome it. You'll find links to both of them in the comments below. If any of this is sounding uncomfortably familiar, don't worry. I'll share some concrete strategies you can use to protect yourself from manipulation a little later on. Something else to watch out for is if the person is making you feel pressured to make a decision quickly. Manipulators will often create a sense of urgency, whether it's a limited time offer or an impending deadline. This is a tactic to get you to act without fully thinking things through. It's also worth noting that manipulators often try to isolate their targets, cutting them off from friends, family, or other support systems. This makes the target more dependent on the manipulator and less likely to get an outside perspective. Now, I know all of this can sound pretty heavy and concerning, but the good news is there are steps you can take to protect yourself. First and foremost, trust your gut. If something feels off or a little too good to be true, don't ignore that internal alarm bell. Take a step back and get an overall perspective of the situation. It can also be helpful to get a second opinion from someone you trust. Explain the situation to a friend or family member and get their ideas. An outside perspective can make it easier to spot manipulation tactics. Additionally, don't be afraid to ask direct questions and demand clear, straightforward answers. If the person is evasive or tries to change the subject, that's a red flag. Hold your ground and insist on transparency. Finally, remember that you are not obligated to go along with anything that doesn't feel right to you. It's okay to say no, even if the other person tries to make you feel guilty about it. Your well-being has to come first. One important thing to keep in mind is that manipulators often prey on people who are already feeling vulnerable or insecure. If you're going through a difficult time in your life, whether it's personal, financial, or professional, you may be more susceptible to manipulation. Be extra vigilant during these periods, and don't be afraid to reach out for support from trusted friends and loved ones. It's also worth noting that some people may not even realize they're being manipulative. They may have learned these behaviors from past experiences or unhealthy relationships. In those cases, it can be helpful to have an open and honest conversation with the person if you feel it's safe to do so. Approach it from a place of understanding, not judgment, and see if you can help them recognize their manipulative tendencies. Manipulation can be a tricky thing to navigate, but by staying vigilant and trusting your instincts, you can avoid being taken advantage of. Remember, you deserve to be treated with respect, honesty, and transparency. Don't let anyone attempt to convince you otherwise. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, share it with your friends so we can bring you more ideas. For more videos like this, to help elevate your happiness, hit the subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you get notified of our next post. Thanks for watching.